And we are live. And Andrea froze as we went live.
I'm good. Are you good, Dan?
I'm good now. You
All
were
right.
you were completely frozen. So
Oh, so we need another animation. Hello, we're live.
jazz hands, is that what they call that? Something like that.
Yeah, magic fingers. I don't know, jazz hands. I don't know, one of those. Yeah. Yes. Amazing. Well, hello and welcome to GeekOut Live. If anybody is catching us on the live, give us a hashtag live, give us a shout out. We'd love to just celebrate you today. And then if you're catching us on the replay, hashtag replay, let us know what you got going on. So we have big changes on the horizon with GeekOut and GeekOut Live that I'm really excited to share. We have a challenge coming up that made some pretty big epiphanies this week. And so we're going to share some of that. And then we also have to talk about the SOS launch and how that's going, because Dan has over there just killing it on the graphics front. And then also just a couple more shout outs to some pretty amazing activities that are happening this week in terms.
And she's gone again.
No,
she's back.
Can you hear me? Okay. All right, cool.
You keep freezing.
Oh, weird. Okay, cool. So do you have any one of those topics you want to dive in first, Dan? Do you have a passion for one or the other?
Well, you told me I had to talk about SOS first, so I better do that.
Right.
I'm going to get yelled at.
Right.
Yeah, so everybody knows secrets of success. We're saying SOS, secrets of success. They started, I guess, realistically, was it last week, Thursday? As Justin said, he was on a call yesterday. Justin Benson, who's Russell's partner on the program, he was on with Danny Walsh. And he said, yeah, it was only 6 days ago, but it seems like months. And I'm like, yeah, it seems like a lot longer than 6 days ago that this thing started. And a lot of people have been out there promoting. And what happens, which is not abnormal for a launch like this, especially when you're using software that they haven't really used before regarding the affiliate side of things. The ClickFunnels side of things actually working quite well. It's the affiliate side of things that ran into some serious problems as far as I think they've done a good job of keeping track of everything. It's just the reporting to us that has been inaccurate. And yesterday, it's Lead Dino is the name of the company that they're using for this. And yesterday they had a big snafu, as in they went down for like 24 hours. Now, we're still collecting data. ClickFunnels as well was also collecting on their end. I don't know how they were doing this, to be honest with you, but this is what Jamie Smith said this morning, at least that's what I heard him say, is that ClickFunnels on their end was also collecting that data. And so they also were able to tell who the affiliates were, and that eventually everybody will get credit. But they had to do some batch updates, and they had to run it through the API for Lead Dino. The API was down too. So it could be a day or 2 or 3 or whatever before we start seeing accurate numbers as far as how many affiliate sales there are. So I'm telling people that to basically don't get discouraged. Actually, this morning when the numbers came back up live, some people had less sales, some people had more sales. I actually had 3 more sales that it was showing, but I had less pages worth of sales and I had a lower commission total, which again is not going to be abnormal, because with some of the sales, this happened with the 2.0 launch last year. It's happened with every other affiliate thing I've ever been involved with, is that sometimes the sale gets credited to the wrong place. Perfect example here is Andrea bought, I don't know which level you bought into, Andrea, if you've got the monthly or the annual plan.
Top one.
You what?
The top one.
Okay, so you went for the annual plan. Okay. Her purchase does not show under me at all at this point. Why is that? She claims to have used my link. Maybe she didn't. She might have clicked on Susan's link. She might have clicked on Russell's link. I may not have gotten credit for some reason. But in the end, when it all washes out, I'll make sure that I get credit for Andrea because she was signed up as an affiliate underneath me. And so I should rightfully get credit on that. Same thing with other people. They may have been an affiliate under me, and then they saw a link from someone else, and they signed up under that. Or they saw the link that came out from Russell, which wasn't an affiliate link, but it still was not crediting the upline properly. And so all those things are being sorted out right now. So you may have, let's say you got 5 sales now, you may really have had 10 sales. It's just not reporting accurately yet. So what my suggestion would be is once they come out and they say, okay, we squashed all the bugs, we got everybody where they're supposed to be, as far as we know, we got everybody credited where they're supposed to be properly. That's when you reach out to your list. That's when you reach out to the people who are the affiliates underneath you and you say, okay, did you buy? And if so, what did you buy? And then you can compare that to what you're looking at. And then you can send a message over to Secrets of Success and say, okay, these are the discrepancies I'm seeing. And they'll go through one by one, just like they did with the 2.0 launch last year. They'll go through one by one and make sure they get straightened out. So don't worry about it. Just keep promoting. In the end, in the wash, it'll all come out.
Yeah. I have to say, I know that the affiliate launch was really rough. And I mean, I feel for those guys on the ClickFunnels side. I've been there where I've made a launch and the affiliate system, I had to like change a link at the last minute. And oh man, it's just, I feel for him. That's a tough place to be. And I know I've been there. So yeah. You have somebody congratulations, Dan, you're on the leaderboard. Is he though, really? That
was the same thing last year with the 2.0 launch. At one point I look and I'm like number 8 on the list. And I'm like, okay, I know how many sales I've had. So if I'm number 8, how many sales did the people ahead of me have? Because it wasn't a lot. And I still ended up in 15th place, but some of the top guys, if I'm not mistaken, I think the top person had like over 10,000 sales.
That's amazing.
And probably the second person only had, maybe a couple hundred or something. I don't know. I mean, that's the second number I definitely made up, but maybe they had 1,000 or more. I don't know. I think Dan Henry actually was second in that promotion. And if I recall, he said he sent out 1 email. And again, right there, that statement I just made is the power of the list. Doug Boughton right now is leading this contest, and he has a list of less than 6,000 people. Yeah. Last time I saw, I was in 4th place, and because I lost my Facebook profile last week, 2 weeks ago now, whatever, right when we were starting to promote this, like the day after we started to promote this, I lost my Facebook profile that had 4,000 friends on it. And these aren't just, most of these are not high school buddies. These are all people in this business who would want to purchase this product. I lost that list. So I'm working off of a list of about 1,700 people and my Facebook group. That is it. And I was in 3rd place for a while.
So, I thought that you had group track and we got them all in. And so you owned all of your list.
No, I have the people who were in I already, long before we ever connected group track to it, I was using other things. But so I captured an email address from the bulk of the people who came into my Facebook group. Now I know I missed like 500 because the software I was using at one point before we were using group track wasn't working right. And there's a gap in there, like, at least 300 people that I never captured their email addresses, and other things have happened to my list. My list should probably be closer to 3,000, but multiple things have happened to my list over the years, and I lost, 1,000 people off of it. But either way, the point is, I was in 3rd or 4th place with not a very big list. And so that is the power of building a list and providing people with good information, good content, so that when they see your email, they at least take a second to take a look at it.
Yeah. Yep. So true. So true. Which, speaking of really great content, let me just shift gears for a second. And I have to say, I started diving in last weekend. So typically I try to go pretty hard from Monday through Saturday, despite, anyway. So, but Sundays, I really try hard to just make it like my own personal exploration, learning, self-development time, right? That's usually what I try to do. And so last Sunday, I dove in to the Secrets of Success and the model. And I have to say, oftentimes it's hard for me. Like, I can't turn off when I'm inside a membership experience, analyzing the membership experience and experiencing the experience, right? Like, it's hard for me to turn off the analysis of it. And I have to say that what they've done with SOS from an experience standpoint, it shows us new things about Russell's brain and about the way that we create continuity, and how we are, we're playing this game whenever we're building membership sites that initially you need to like download information.
Okay, she might come back. We'll see. Is she going to come back?
It keeps going for me, and I don't know why it's frozen for you. It's so strange.
I don't know. I mean, just keep talking. Then maybe people are seeing it, but I doubt it. If I'm seeing it frozen on my end.
Okay, I'm looking on Facebook too. So, but you can hear me right now.
Yeah, I can hear you fine now.
Okay.
Yeah, you just cut out for a little bit and then you're back. But,
okay.
As you're doing all that talking, I'm trying to see if I can pull up.
I have it here.
Membership site open.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
You can show it that.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I was saying is that I think what we are learning in this analysis of this experience is that I think it is the farthest they've gone in terms of showing features that support ongoing like habit formation type of things, which is really cool. So they introduced this concept of credits, which I think is just absolutely brilliant. And it has to do with if I'm in a particular month and I could choose to jump in and spend my credits to get that particular module of stuff in the library. And every month I have a rolling new amount of credits that are available. And it's a use or lose, I think.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how it works either. So yeah, you have 3 credits showing there right now. And if you can still hear me, Andrea, just click on any one of the heads there. Yeah, you're pointing at stuff and I'm not hearing you at all. So just click on one of the people there. Okay, so we're going to go to here, Lise Lincoln Benedict, who was an early leader in the women's suffrage movement. And she's got some pretty good stuff. And Justin was telling a great story yesterday about how Russell had what they weren't even sure if there was 12 or there was 14 books, but Russell had 11 out of the 12 known books. Well, this gal, Olga, who I think he only said was Olga, Justin did when he was telling the story, I think is the Olga that I know from the Funnel Builder certification, which I cannot think of her last name. And she found a guy who owned book number 11. So Justin got a hold of him, called him up and said, hey, do you got number 11? And he goes, well, actually, I got 2 copies. So Justin arranged to buy one of the copies from him. And then Justin says, well, hey, we've heard rumors that there's a 13 and 14. Do you know anything about that? He goes, yeah, and I happen to have 2 copies of it. So he sold Russell 2 copies. So he sold Russell the 3 books, basically, he was missing out of the 14 book set. And these are the original books. You're seeing the full-size book here. The original books are the tiny books like Russell bought that were the original version of The Law of Success. So there's more of a pamphlet style thing that this gal, Elsie Lincoln Benedict, would sell at her, she basically would have a traveling road show, as they call it back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, dog and pony show, like Kennedy used to do back in the day. And she'd go town to town, and there would be thousands of people who would show up for these things, and she would sell these little booklets. And there were 14 of them total, and apparently the majority of them have been destroyed and they're gone. There are very few known copies of this left, just like the galley copy of Law of Success that Russell has now, paid $1.55 million for it. When you think about that, that's $100,000 a book. And these are very small books. $100,000 a book he paid for these things because there's 16 of them. And so so Russell was able to acquire that. They had already recorded the 11 books that Russell had. They had some gal come in and do the reading of the books. And so I would guess very quickly, as soon as Russell gets his hands on the ones he just purchased, they'll be getting those recorded as well. And then this coming up month in November, they're actually doing a book club. And I don't know if you go to study hall, I think is where that is. I could be wrong. They're going to do maybe. You're in library.
I know. I was just looking to see if the credits actually went down, and they did, which was really cool. So here's the book club.
So while I was talking, Andrea apparently used one of her credits. And did you purchase this one?
I did.
Okay.
Yep. Which is interesting because I actually already did this on my mobile, but it doesn't look like it registered on the desktop. So interesting. But yeah.
Well, then the nice thing about it is, and I didn't realize this until I purchased one myself yesterday, because they got the customer or the members only podcast, and you can see that on the homepage. But then once you use one of your credits, and I did the same thing a couple of days ago as well, as I bought Elsie Lincoln Benedict's stuff, and what it's called is How to Get Anything You Want. So I got that. And so I used my one credit, and that page popped up that Andrea just showed us there, and there's a QR code on it. And you just take your phone and you take a picture, or you put on the camera and you put it over it, and it registers the QR code. And when it does that, then it opens up automatically. In my case here, it was iTunes on my iPhone, or I think they call it something different than iTunes now, but whatever it does, it opened up the podcast app on my iPhone and automatically downloaded into it. So then that does come to your question from earlier, Andrea, is if we were to quit the program, and we're both in for a year because we both bought the annual plan, once our year is up, if we don't renew, do we lose access to all that stuff or not? Because it's in my iTunes now.
Yeah,
I don't know how that works, whether they can go in there and claw it back.
It's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think so I think, but the just the stickiness of the credit system, right? And the making it fresh every month. I think it's important to say too that, we talk a lot about the 6 different experience models that are out there. This is clearly what we call a reference library experience, right? In a reference library, you really want to capitalize on the natural curiosity of the people entering into this world, right? So we're not coming with necessarily a strict agenda, or we're going to learn a thing, right? It's more exploratory in nature and curiosity based. And again, the material that Russell made is fantastic, but it doesn't matter what type of experience model you're doing. I have to point out that the first step being the stepping into the identity step is the most important thing for long-term engagement, I think. And you can see it here. He's done it so well. So you start hearing this identity of the round pegs. He's now he has swag on it. He's referencing it in every video. You're my round pegs. You're here because you're a round peg. So he's doing this identity push, which is so smart in terms of, obviously round pegs, square holes, which is just, it's smart. It's really smart. And he's giving us a little bit of a journey to learn, but then it's our own, we're communicating in the community and learning from one another, and it's more book clubby type of thing. So it's just really smart. Some of the hooks around ongoing continuity for a library experience that he's built.
Well, one thing we were talking about yesterday, and it goes back to an old concept of Dan Kennedy, and probably long before Dan Kennedy, is whenever he was talking back 20 years ago, when I used to go to all of his events, and I was in the peak performers and all that kind of stuff. One of the big things when you have any kind of monthly continuity is you have to have pain of disconnect. Now, back then, what they were teaching guys is you would give them, I mean, this is when things were brand new, email was brand new. You would give them an email address that was part of your system. If they left your system, they lost their email address. And that's a bad example. I'm trying to think of a better one. 800 numbers and stuff they were doing back then. And so you would give somebody an 800 number. If they leave your system, they lose that 800 number. Well, if you've gone out and you printed 10,000 pieces of literature, or 100,000 or 1 million pieces of literature, and you got them out there, they all got that 800 number on it, there's a lot of pain of disconnect. So you don't want to walk away from it. ClickFunnels has a massive amount of pain of disconnect, because what do you have to do to go from ClickFunnels to somewhere else? You got a bunch of funnels you built in ClickFunnels. What is the effort that it takes to go somewhere else? So think about that in terms of any kind of continuity you're building, is what can you put in there that's going to get people to stick, just because walking away is so darn painful. And So now I see Andrea's head bobbing again because I kept going there because you weren't moving. So I figured you were.
I'm here. It's so weird. I'm totally here. I heard everything you said.
Well, it's just if you would have started talking, then nobody would have heard you. But so my issue then becomes in a situation like this. Let's say if you leave the program, and let's say you get to keep all your credits, well, then there's no pain of disconnect. But if you're going to leave and you lose all your credits and you lose everything that got moved into your iTunes account, then there's pain of disconnect.
Yeah.
So where in a program like this is that pain if you choose to walk away? And that becomes the question, and that becomes the thing you always have to look at. That's why being able to put in some sort of software into the mix that if they stop, that software goes away and they lose an appendage basically as soon as they walk away from it. So those are the things you got to think of when you're putting together any kind of a membership.
It's also, though, on the identity front, right? Like the pain of disconnect of like, if I step away from this, I step away from the identity of being around Peg, right? So it's like that double whammy of the software and the identity and the community, right? Like it's, you're so right in terms of just that pain.
Or if you walk away from ClickFunnels, you have to walk away from all your everything, even though Justin Benton was telling, Benton with a T, I think, right? He was telling a story the other day about he's at, I think it was like his daughter's volleyball game. And he sees a guy in a ClickFunnels t-shirt. He walks up, hey, man, you're a funnel hacker. He goes, no, I trialed the software like 5 years ago, and they sent me this t-shirt, and I'm just still wearing it. Apparently he liked the t-shirt.
Right.
It's not a guarantee they're going to stay, but
right.
I'll tell you, if I go back here, I got things like stuff that I got back 20 years ago, like my Dan Kennedy bobblehead doll. I got this sitting on the shelf behind me, along with some other Kennedy stuff.
So creepy.
Because I'm still connected to the herd. In many, many ways, I'm still connected to the Dan Kennedy herd because I've learned so much from the man. I can't give up my little bobblehead. Now, I guess I just need a bobblehead Russell now because I know they have them.
Yes,
so,
yes, you do. You do.
I don't have one yet. I need to get one.
Yes. That's so funny. Yeah, amazing. And we've just been geeking out. Looking behind the scenes at we're starting to build more 2.0 builds. I think our verdict is still the 2.0 course area is difficult in terms of like creating a really great experience that is easy to use and easy to follow and easy to navigate. There's still a lot there. So, Dan, you gotta, we've got a mouse situation. Dan, take over. Talk more about the SOS. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, I think the reason that Andrea has to leave is because I think two cats are trying to kill each other or something on her floor. But it also can't change the screen here much. But as long as we got time, in case you haven't seen what the Mifki is, the most incredible free gift ever, and you can actually get it for free. So people think that, okay, I'm going to go in here and then Russell's going to bang me for shipping. And then people overseas go, oh my God, it's going to cost like $100 to have this thing shipped to my house. And so the thing is you can actually choose an option where you pay $1. And obviously we're all marketers, so we know why do they need the $1 so that when your renewal comes up in 30 days, they can bang your credit card again and do the continuity just like you would do if you're selling somebody continuity as well. Well, if you buy if you have the Mifki, the box shipped to you, and you're going to see right here behind me, this black box right there. I had that shipped to me a couple weeks ago, actually right before Funnel Hacking Live, the end of September, I got that. And in that box comes Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich with a foreword by Russell Brunson. So now this is the same book that if you read it before, it's the exact same book, so you can just read it again if you so choose. But the cooler ones in here are actually ones that I had already taken to Kinko's and had the spines removed from and had them, had the binder, had put this in there. For me, this just makes it so much easier to work on here. You can flip it around. You can do whatever. If I need to make a photocopy of it or something, take a picture of it. It's a lot easier to do in this kind of a format. And this book here was actually, Russell and Justin were at the Napoleon Hill Foundation in Wise, Virginia. I don't know how long ago. And out of the back room, they come with this incredibly old manuscript that was just falling apart. It had been originally typed by Napoleon Hill on what they used to refer to as onion paper. It was very unstable. It was crap, basically. And so this paper was disintegrating. And they said to Russell, because it was called The Secrets of Master Salesmanship, and the guy, Don Green, says to Russell, he goes, hey, I know you like things with secret in the title, so do you guys want this? So an unpublished Napoleon Hill manuscript that no one had ever seen before, that was written in, I think, I'm thinking this was 1919, but there may not be an original date on this because, frankly, they may not know when he originally typed this. Because, like I said, it was like on paper that was disintegrating. So, so I'm not seeing a date on here as far as when it was printed originally or typed originally, because again, it was never printed. So they gave him this and gave him the rights to reprint this and give to all of us. So this is basically a manuscript no one has ever seen. I've only read a little bit of it, but it's really good. It's typical Napoleon Hill kind of stuff. But here's another one here, because, you know, we're always talking about MIFGs. Idea of the MIFG came from Dan Kennedy. Again, it's the most valuable and most incredible free gift ever. It's what he used to use in order to get people into his newsletters. And he had like a silver, gold, and a platinum newsletter. And at the lowest level is like $47 a month. Well, what you would do is he would give you like some books, some CDs, and a 30-day trial of his newsletter. And so that was the whole idea of a MIFG. Well, Napoleon Hill had a magazine back in the day. It was called Hill's Golden Rule. It says it right down here at the bottom. The problem is this magazine only lasted about a year, and that was in 1919. You can see over here is copyright date on this is 1919. Well, what he did is he said to anybody who bought a year's subscription for this that he was going to have 12 lessons, and this is on practical lessons in applied psychology. So he was going to have 12 lessons on this, and if somebody bought a year in advance, just like Russell's doing now, if you buy the year in advance, he's going to give you that big fat book. If you bought a year in advance, you would get this. And if you didn't want to buy a year in advance, you could buy this, but it was for $50. And I've heard Russell say it anywhere from $850 to $3,000 in today's dollars. It's probably more like $850. But even at that, somebody would have had to have paid $850 to get this. And like I said, this company was only around for a year, I think. One of his magazines was only around for a year. The other one, I'm not sure about. I think this was the one that was only around for a year. So basically, no one's ever seen this ever before either. Very, very few people. And certainly in the last 100 years, virtually nobody's seen this. But again, this was his MIFG. So the whole idea of a MIFG goes way back to, I mean, who knows when. I mean, there might have been cavemen going, you know, hey, if you...
Hieroglyphics.
Well, I guess dowries. You know, a dowry is like, you know, so if you marry my daughter, I'm going to give you the free gifts.
Forget about the kill buffalo. Get the kill MIFG.
Marry my daughter and take, you know, get 2 cows or something. The other way around. I don't know how it works.
Trade you 2 chickens for a MIFG? Is that what you're talking about, Dan?
Well, I mean, the whole idea of wedding presents came from is.
Oh my gosh!
You know, well, we can have the historians, you know, send me a letter and tell me how wrong I am about this. So that's fine. I won't be the first time I'm wrong. So, all right. Did you get your cats to not kill each other?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that pause. I appreciate it. Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I have to point out that the insane value and just the cool thing that we got with SOS, but again, focused on continuity, is the conversations and the book club and the community and the, like, how do I take it out into the world and apply it to me, worksheets. Like, this is all the stuff that I just, again, I kudos to Russell for what he put together, because it's all of the fabric that creates that continuity piece, which is awesome.
All right. What else did we have? Don't you guys? Don't you have something
I do. Yeah. So we next week are officially within the 2-week window of challenge launch. So you're going to probably start seeing stuff this weekend about our challenge. And we have been so heads down trying to figure out what do we call.
And she's gone again. So we're never going to know what she called it because she cut out one more time. But I'd tell you what it was called, but she hasn't told me yet. So we'll just have to wait till she comes back. I forget what else we were going to talk about today. That stuff I didn't really know about. 2.0, we're starting to build some stuff in 2.0, membership site stuff. Okay, she's back.
I don't know what's going on with my internet. We have the people still working on the house, and I'm so sorry. Okay, so before I leave, though, before I lose it again, let me send the link into our challenge. So for our challenge, you can get on the wait list to be the first to know about it. But when it opens, here we go. I'm going to put it in the challenge, the comments. And let me go ahead and show it. If you go to geekoutconnect.com/challenge waitlist.
And she's gone again. So let me see if I can share my screen. Share my screen. The entire screen should be safe. We'll find out. We will. And let's try this. Okay. Hopefully I can share my screen. What I'm going to try to do is go to this link. Are you back, Andrea?
I've been here the whole time. I don't know what's going on. I'm here.
I don't know what's going on either. Can you see my screen? Because I was going to.
I can. Yeah. Do you want me to hide it while you log in?
No, I was just going to your page.
Yeah,
so this was the wait list page. That's what I was going to show because you left us. So I was just going to show the wait list page, and ooh, look at even a fancy exit intent pop up. Look at that. So join the wait list. Boom. There you go. And so share your genius with continuity challenge. I'm guessing that must be the name you're going to tell us about.
That is the name. Yes. So one of the biggest pieces of feedback that we get from a lot of our Geek Out Academy people is that we do something called extract and clarify. And what that is that we put the emphasis, Dan likes to say it, that we put the emphasis on you instead of your who to start, because we think that's the best place to start.
Let me say it the way I say
okay, do it.
I say it so much better. So
do it.
The way this came to me one day was I was thinking about how do virtually every class you ever get involved in, every course, everything, they're always going, oh, we got to figure out what your avatar is. We got to figure out who is your who are the people you want to market to and sell to, and your affinity group. I mean, whatever words you want to use, but it's always who is your who. And Andrea came up with this whole extract and clarify thing. And it wasn't until after I saw her do it with students one time, I just said, everybody else starts with who is your who. We start with who are you? Because that matters so much more to anybody. Because the perfect story on this is one I've told only a few times now, because it didn't dawn on me until like a couple months ago so I was in the mortgage real estate business for, I don't know, close to 20 years or something. And I get out of it during the crash in 2008, and everybody lost everything. We know how that went. I live here in Phoenix, and we were pretty much ground zero. There was a couple places that were worse than us, but our real estate values here dropped 60% in a matter of like a year and 18 months maybe. But either way, everybody lost everything. I ended up going bankrupt. Not ashamed to say that, because that's what happened. I mean, we all failed, not because of us. We all failed because of the system. And I won't get any more political than that at this point. But after the crash, though, I said to myself, okay, well, online marketing was really becoming a thing at the time in 2008. And then I got involved with WordPress and stuff. And so my attitude was, okay, well, I'm going to teach people how to do, I guess we don't need to show this page anymore, huh? So we'll just stop sharing here. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to just teach real estate agents and mortgage brokers how to do blogs and how to get marketing using blogging and SEO and all that kind of stuff. And I struggled with that and struggled with that and struggled with that for 11 years. 11 years, I just messed around with that until I got into ClickFunnels in 2016, and I started building membership sites right away. And I was at an MLM meeting for Steve Larson's Downline up in Boise in May of 2018. And I showed him some of the membership sites that I built. And frankly, I didn't think he was paying attention at the time as I was showing these to him. He's kind of like looking at his phone and whatnot. And a month later, I get a call from his buddy. I'm going to forget the poor man's name. His last name is Wood. What the hell is his first name? Blonde-haired kid.
Dave?
No, not Dave Woodward. Either way, the guy who worked with Steve for a while. I'll think of it as soon as I stop thinking about it. But so either way, I get a message from him, and he says, "Hey, Steve wants you to build the membership site content for his affiliate outreach program." And I immediately just said at that point, "Okay, I'm done." And I got up. I was actually in my mom's basement at the time because I was back there taking care of her because she was having heart surgery. And I just got up, had a bunch of whiteboards on the walls. I got up and I wiped the boards off. And I just wrote on there something to the effect of, "I'm the membership site guy." And the problem is I had been doing what the gurus tell you to do for 11 years and got nowhere because I was focusing on the who. They were my affinity group. I kept telling myself that. These people are my affinity group. I know these people. I can help these people. The problem is I hated those people. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
I did not like real estate agents when I was in the business, and I still don't like real estate agents. Nothing personal. Some of them are quite lovely people. But the point is, I was looking at the who instead of looking out for number one.
Mm-hmm.
Great Robert Ringer book, in case you ever want to read it, Looking Out for Number One. I actually read it when I was in high school. I should have paid attention to what it said because I probably wouldn't wasted 11 years of my life.
Yeah.
So that was it. That just dawned on me. And ever since then, it was just like, yeah, you gotta do what's going to make you get out of bed every day. Russell tells the story about one day waking up and hating his customers so much he wished he could get fired. Problem is, it was his company.
Yep.
He couldn't fire himself. So you don't want to be that person. Don't be me. I always said that when I was in the mortgage business. I always said, don't become my customer, because I work with a lot of people who are in bankruptcy. Well, one day, guess what? I got to file bankruptcy myself. So I became my own customer after I preached at people not to become one of my customers when I saw them doing dumb things financially. Well, I ended up being one of my customers. And just be true to who you are. I mean, I was listening to Russell this morning, and that's it. You got to just look at who you are and be who you are. You were put here to be you, not to serve some avatar that some guru tells you to serve. Serve yourself first, and then give all your money away if you want.
Yeah. Yep. So if you want to not lose 11 years off your life and become the thing, which we're so grateful you became the membership guy. Yep. Then join the challenge, because we are incorporating that now we're going to do a 3-day challenge. We extended it one day so that we can have time to give you a taste of what that is in the program. So you will get a linchpin plan. You will get your, what we call extract and clarify, which is like your message. And then we're going to talk about how you actually operationalize that in a continuity service plan, which we call journey crafting. So that will be the 3-day challenge. We're really excited. It's going to be November 7th, 8th, and 9th in the morning. And so the doors will open in the next coming days. So if you're interested, get on the wait list, be the first to know. And we are really looking forward to it. So we had a really good success on the first challenge, and we're looking forward to the next one.
Well, and the thing is, for people, it's a totally hands-on immersion type experience. This isn't a sideways webinar. says anything like that. No matter how much I preach at Andrea to do a sideways webinar, she won't listen to me. But it's seriously, it's immersive, and it gives you a real sneak peek into what it is you will get if you join up with the Academy. And, so Andrea did the first one of this, I don't know, could be, was it 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago? I don't even know how long ago now.
I know,
and
crazy.
She did it. And I thought, you're kind of missing the point here, because one thing she likes to talk about all the time, she's been talking about it since I ever met her, is journey crafting. Well, people didn't understand the journey crafting term. They just had no context to put around it. And I remember with Russell talking about when they finally figured out how to sell ClickFunnels, was he had his webinar, he had his stack, he had all the bonuses. Finally, one day he said, okay, which one of these is the sexiest bit? And he pulled out that sexiest bit and he said, okay, I'm going to lead with this. And that made him, our millions of dollars he has now. I mean, It made him incredibly wealthy by just saying, okay, I'm going to switch how I'm selling this and going, okay, what is the sexiest bit? Well, when I see Andrea go through this the first time, I'm like, oh, the sexiest bit is the extract and clarify. It's the helping you find you first. That's the most important part. And that, as we've seen with the students now, that is the part when they go through that, they just go, oh my God. Because they've never experienced anything like this before, where somebody, a coaching situation, a course situation, actually sat down and gave a damn about the student. Instead of just regurgitating the same crap that they heard from somebody else and calling it their own, because it ain't their own. There's nothing new about Find Your Avatar. It's in every book I got on the shelf over here. Here we're talking about find you. Don't find your avatar, find you. And once you find you, you'll know exactly what to do.
Plus, it gets really fun because then it's just like this.
And she's gone. Let's see how long it takes for her to come back. Oh, well, okay. All right. I hear a voice now.
All right. Yay. Good. I know I'm wondering if my video, but yes. Thank you, Dan. Yeah. And I love that summary. And it gets so much fun when you get to talk about you first, which feels counterintuitive to a lot of the messaging out there, but I think it's the only way that it actually works.
And everybody if you listen to Russell's stories, again, he was doing one of the things for Secrets of Success this morning. 3/4 of it was him telling his wrestling stories again.
Yep.
But they're there for a reason. They're there to make a point. And the way he told it here fit in perfectly with the whole idea of, what was he talking about? I should know this better. It's in Napoleon Hill's book. It's the most important thing. Your desire, your
prime directive.
No, it's not that. It's not burning desire either. What the heck was it called? Somebody typed in #live. Nope, that wasn't it either. It was not #live. I thought somebody was going to prompt me real quick who watched it this morning, because now I'm what the heck it was. Whatever it was. I'm looking for it now. Well, basically, it was like, he decided. Basically, the burning desire, but is that exactly the right term? But, he decided when he saw a guy who was a couple years older than him. Definite purpose. Okay, I think that was
it. Bill Griggs for the win.
Or something like that. Right, Bill. I'm like, circling around it too, but I'm not quite sure if that was exact words either. But it was, that is what Napoleon Hill says. You have to find your definite purpose and couple it with a burning desire. So when he decided he was going to be a championship wrestler, it wasn't, I'm going to be an okay wrestler. It wasn't, I'm going to be a good wrestler. No, it's, I'm going to be the #1 state wrestler by my junior year. He made that definitive statement, and he did everything possible to get to that point. And that, a lot of times that means sacrifice. You're not always going to get what you want. and you're going to go through pain. And he lost, and he tells the story about, I think it was his junior year when he did win state. And he goes out and he wrestles his first match. And he'd been telling everybody, oh, I'm going to be champion. I'm going to be champion. He goes out, he wrestles his first match, and he gets beat. And everybody's like, I thought you were going to be the state champion, loser. You know how people can be. And it's when I was in the metaphysical stuff, we talked about the crab pot. And, the people around you are all in the crab pot. And they don't want to see you climb out. So they're doing everything they can to pull you right back in. So you got to just guard yourself against that and just go, no, I'm going to have to leave you people behind. I mean, there's Cheers, one of the episodes, they're talking to Sam. You're probably too young to remember Cheers, but they're talking to Sam.
Remember Cheers. Yeah,
Sam Malone, the guy's a bartender, but he's an alcoholic. And they're like, how did you get away from that? And he goes, oh, it's simple. I had to get new friends. Those were my drinking buddies, and I could not hang out with my drinking buddies anymore because they were just going to bring me back into it. So sometimes you got to walk away. Sometimes you got to find a new environment.
Yep. We have somebody it's Facebook, so I can't see the name. Norm, exactly. But I'm trying to transition from decades as an IT manager to a funnel builder so I can focus on using my creative skills in Photoshop. Plus, I love the marketing training from Russell. Yeah, it's a tough transition, right? Especially because I don't know about you guys, but I went down some paths of like, just because I'm good at it or I can do it, but it wasn't necessarily me, right? And then Bill says something. He's like, it's no coincidence that the first principle in Think and Grow Rich is to have a burning desire backed by a definitive purpose, not passion. Yep.
Well, somebody said Norm there from Cheers, and it reminds me, one of my favorite lines ever from Norm is that every show when he would come in, they'd always say they'll go Norm, and then somebody would like say something which would tee him off to tell a joke, and one of the days he says. Somebody said, how's life treating you, Norm? And he says, what is it? Oh, it's a dog eat dog world out there, and I'm wearing milk bone underwear.
That's funny. Oh, you gotta just miss those like one-liners, right? Like shows aren't quite like that anymore. It's so great.
There aren't even any sitcoms anymore. There's nothing I would call a sitcom anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Now like Cheers and Seinfeld and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yep. So true. So true. Yeah. Amazing. Okay. Well, I know we're almost at.
And she's gone again.
All right. Maybe it's not time for the seed. I think.
I think it's time to call it a day, and next time reboot your router before we go live or something. I guess. Yeah.
Oh, Keith, yay. I love it. From GeekOut Academy. Let's see who it is. Can you hear me now, Dan?
Yeah, but I think it's also Keith there possibly that says you need a hard line, which is not a bad idea if you got a hardwired server, not a server, whatever you call it.
The internet system in this house in general is, we're in progress. Let's just say that. So.
Well, yeah, but are you running off of Wi-Fi or are you running off of...
It is, yes. To your point, the hard line would be great.
Yeah, I forget what they call those blue wires, but just get one of those and plug it in. You might have better success.
Yeah.
Your Ethernet cable, there you go. Getting all the big words today. So
yeah, exactly.
Old age. I turned 60 last week, so
happy birthday, Dan.
We'll blame it on dementia.
Landline. That's funny. We're really dating ourselves now.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Well, everybody, one last announcement. This is super important. Hopefully it stays. So we're going to do an experiment starting in the month of November. So we are getting some really good mastermindy consult from some YouTube geniuses. And Angelica says, happy belated birthday, Dan.
All I care about is the person that says I look 45. I want to know who that is.
There you go. Exactly.
Son of a gun is.
Exactly. Yes. But we're getting some really great consults from some YouTube geniuses. So we are going to be running an experiment for the months of November and December on our YouTube, Facebook Lives front. So starting in November, so the next week, Friday, we will not be streaming.
So apparently we're not going to be streaming. I'm not sure what we're not going to be streaming, but we're not going to be streaming.
Can you see me now?
You said we're not going to be streaming, and then you went away.
I know, that was such a cliffhanger. We're not going to be streaming live into the Facebook group. We're only going to stream live into YouTube starting November and December for Geek Out Live on Friday. So we have some ideas on how to get the word out, make sure people know. But it is a little experiment that we're running. We will send out more communication as to the nature of the experiment, but we will not be streaming live into our Facebook groups starting November, December. It'll only be on our YouTube channel. So, and we'll share more on the nature of the experiment, but that will begin next week. So,
okay. I first heard of this experiment, so I'll have to talk to Andrea about this. Find
yes.
out who came up with this idea.
Yep. So, yep. It's a good one. It's a good one. So.
All right, fine. It for 1 second, I can tell you
that. Yep. So, and of course, like everything on Geek Out, we will report back on why we're doing the experiment, what we're trying to learn, and then what we find out. So stay tuned. That'll be there. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, then we'll go ahead and sign off. Thank you guys for bearing with my crazy internet. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. Dan, as always, so appreciate our conversations, and we'll look forward to everybody seeing you guys in our Facebook community and on our YouTube channel. Have a great Friday.